I'm very concerned about medium-term inflation. And so in an inflationary environment, in my very simplistic view of the world, I want to own three things. Hypergrowth, because hypergrowth can always outrun inflation. Think of that as like companies that are growing 50+% a year. It's incredible growth, right? Then I want to own cash generative assets. Think of that as like, a great example is like a mining stock. I know that sounds crazy, but it's pretty incredible. And then I want to own non-correlated assets. Bitcoin, Solana, DeSo, a lot of the DeFi protocols, because it's a great counterintuitive hedge against all of this stuff. It's very hard for me sitting here to give you a price prediction, but I can pretty confidently say that Bitcoin, I think, has effectively replaced gold, and it will continue to do so. And so that market cap is just going to grow. And then for the first time, I think we're seeing the initial versions of the solution that we thought Bitcoin was supposed to be. Smart contracts, better savings accounts, better insurance, better credit scoring. And that's happening through this DeFi stuff that's being built on Ethereum and Solana. These are the terms that people are.
I read recently where you said you're building a, quote, sizable portfolio of NFTs. I mean, talk about bubbles. I mean, the air sort of came out of SPACs, it came out of NFTs. And what do you have an interesting look on?
I'm not ready to comment on my crypto holdings outside of Bitcoin.
Well, but you said you were building, I read this. You said you were building
Other
a sizable
than that quote,
portfolio.
I am not ready
digital art and all that.
I'm not ready to comment.
But you think, are you looking at more what I would call alternative assets as places to best deliver alpha today? I'll ask it that way.
That's a fabulous question. I'm very concerned about medium-term inflation. And so in an inflationary environment, in my very simplistic view of the world, I want to own three things. Hypergrowth, because hypergrowth can always outrun inflation. Think of that as like companies that are growing 50+% a year. It's incredible growth, right? Then I want to own cash generative assets. Think of that as like, a great example is like a mining stock. I know that sounds crazy, but it's pretty incredible. And then I want to own non-correlated assets. Bitcoin, Solana, DeSo, a lot of the DeFi protocols, because it's a great counterintuitive hedge against all of this stuff.
In addition to Bitcoin, which coins, if you will, cryptocurrencies, digital assets, are you a holder of? Are you a believer in?
Well, I will be publishing this soon. I am building a fairly sizable portfolio of what are called NFTs, non-fungible tokens, some digital art, some virtual trading cards. And these may sound crazy to some, but I do think that that's the next frontier of digital currency and digital assets. And so I have been building a portfolio. My decision is the team and I will announce it. We will publicize everything we own, and we will make our holdings transparent so that folks can track along and see as we buy and sell things. So that's coming in a few months. I'm not really ready to show the details of exactly what we hold yet, but I'm really excited. Maybe in a few weeks, actually, but I'm very excited. We're almost ready to tell the world.
There is a huge opportunity to build a distributed energy utility. I've mentioned this to you before, but I think there's going to be a cataclysm in the energy markets. I think the utilities are under duress. They're in a very, very difficult spot, and the laws don't understand what will happen when individuals like you and I can generate our own power. And so, again, closing the circle on Virgin, when I sold a couple $100 million, it was in large part to fund this thing, which is quickly becoming, over the next few years, in my opinion, will be the largest distributed energy utility in America. So I'm very proud of the work that I'm doing over here, and hopefully, you know, I'll pick up a little bit of the slack that Tesla is not going to be able to, you know, operationalize as they build an incredible EV business. And so both things I think will happen. I think it'll manifest in a different company.
You still have a sizable stock position in Tesla?
No.
You sold it?
Yeah.
When?
Over the last few years, we've sort of, you know, not last few years, like really in the last year or so particularly, you know, the prices allowed me to, again...
Surprised to hear you say that after what you just said about the company.
Well, I don't have an infinite pool of capital. You know, I'm myself, I don't raise funds, I can't go to other people. And so when I have these ideas, the money has to come from someplace. The only other solution would be for me to get totally levered up. And I'm just not comfortable with that risk. And so, you know, I'm a meager guy with meager means.
Yeah.